How do we become that strategic partner to the CEO and the founders of the world out there, and show them exactly how leveraging people's skill sets, investments in their abilities, and allowing them to really explore and drive the business forward.
Especially experts. For them, they never quit company. Experts always quits managers.
Of course.
Always. Always, always, always. But the company thinks, yeah, it's maybe, people think, oh, they quit the company. No, you don't quit the company. You quit the manager. Welcome to the Alchemy of Success podcast.
Your podcast for career, personal, and consciousness expansion. I'm Pedro.
And I'm Anna.
And today's topic is going to be what's happening within the industry circle, where there's going to be a shift happening, where we're basically shifting from bottom line centric focus to people centric focus because of everything that's going on, is really being aware of what's going on with all your employees. What are they thinking? What are they feeling? What are their goals? And how that dynamic will lead to bottom line success versus thinking the other way around and trying to fit them into an actual mold. So we'll go ahead and have a very exploratory conversation, very casual between Anna and I, and just enjoy the convo. And obviously, always drop some comments. Let us know what you think as we go along.
And very important, this topic is not only important if you are in a high level, management level, or a CEO, or having your own company as a founder, but also as an employee to see where the whole focus is shifting and how you as a part of corporation can help this shift to happen by awakening more awareness, and by also putting maybe this topic in front of more people, so you can actually grab our conversation and forward it to your colleagues, to your manager, and to ask, what do you think about that? And the reason why all this is happening is kind of due to 2020. And also due to whole social media connection, where you suddenly start seeing people earning money from all over the world, to sitting in coffee like me or being somewhere else. People starting checking with themselves, okay, what is the culture and the way how I want to work and how I want to be actually treated in a company? And what is my value? What is my time valued? To stick in one company. So how do I want to be treated? What is the environment I really want to spend my time? Because during this challenging time, 2020, we experience, what is it? To stay at home, to have more freedom, to have more flexibility, and to explore different angles of life, integration, to say this way, instead of work-life balance. So listen to this conversation and let us know what is your thought about that. It was just very chilled one. And, if you feel that it's worth it, forward it and have a conversation in your circle of your colleagues, your friends, management level, or maybe your CEO, network.
I would love to talk about the structure of the workplace right now, because I've been talking to a lot of my HR people, my friends.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
it's so it looks like you see, I think you've noticed Gary Vee's been making a lot of posts lately on the shift in the industry, how it's becoming more people centric. We're back to being people centric before, versus, being goal oriented and not caring about anything except the bottom line and the focus of what needs to be achieved. But he says, really, you need to focus on the people. And he says that the next 10 years, you have to be invested in that. You have to invest in what they care about, what they want to do, how they actually going to be driving your business, not us pushing down what everything needs to be done and treat them like robots.
And that is the position I want to go here in Middle East. I actually find also the position called the name, because I heard it from one lady, is called CPO, Chief People
Officer. Yeah, that's standard over here.
And that is how I want to put my CV in this direction. I was talking yesterday literally with a lady working in a huge consultancy company across the world, where I told her, the problem of the company nowadays is they don't create a work environment that creates a high level of retention of qualified people, because they focus on the way how the business goes instead of the way what actually the people need from a well-being, from a, I don't even like to say it work-life balance, from a life integration perspective, where I think the most of the people, they shift also this mindset. I want to be a workpreneur into the company. So I want to have the level of freedom to act as an entrepreneur in my area of work, and yet to have this connection to the corporate, to the company, to the value, to the direction where it's going. And when I decided that I want to develop my skill set, or I wanted to move from one department to other one, I want my company to support me. And that is why I told her the problem is that the most of the manager, they are so much goal driven that they suppress their employee under them, not to develop in some other direction because they're scared not to hit the goal. So I said, my viewpoint on this is we need to start the awareness from the CEO level that actually you need to have the workshop on a senior manager level, and then, top down, where we tell them it's not anymore about the singular goal of a singular department, but it's more about whole holistic approach for company success, and how we can keep good experts in our company by allowing them, if they will, to expand and develop in some other areas.
Yeah, the challenge over here, Anna, I don't know if you're going to face this over there in Dubai, but the challenge over here, historically, they've always been seen as a cost center. Same thing with operations, finance, the back
As a
office
what?
folks. Cost center, which basically means you're a head count, and I can remove you if I'm not making my numbers. That's what a cost center is. They just see you as a number, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you're going to be dealing with the same thing over here that we're dealing with over here, because in the end, and I'm being very honest with you, in the end, I've had many meetings like this. You're doing well. All of a sudden, the time shifts and we're not producing the results that we want to. They literally go down to P&L. How many people do we have? Where are these people allocated? And how do these people drive my strategic vision of achieving my goals? Usually, including myself, finance in that bucket is all the way at the bottom of the list. So where I think I would love to see is, how do we become that strategic partner to the CEO and the founders of the world out there, and show them exactly how leveraging people's skill sets, investments and their abilities, and allowing them to really explore and drive the business forward, not achieve goals. That's why I never did that. Maybe that's why I did okay in my career, I would say. I never did that. I never looked to achieve goals. I looked to exceed them by elevating my people higher, not the other way around.
Me
Not the
also.
other way around, So hopefully it does shift to that perspective. But people officers, the role, right? Chief people officers is to have that strategic vision and partnership with the CEO, and showing them how my organization, which is basically the entire organization, how I can
It's
add
actually all the
value.
people.
Exactly.
Everybody beside the CEO.
Add everybody, and how do we elevate them and make sure that it's always fresh to them, because everybody changes, their skill sets changes every 2 years. They're different. They have different goals in life and in business. They have different goals. But how do you get ahead of that curve, and how do you show that value? That's where I would love to see that evolve, because it's been challenging to see that from the corporate side over here in the US.
But the question is, how can you put this in ROE? So what I mean is that, imagine I'm a CEO and you come as a you want to explain me as a CEO that maybe I don't have the
I did.
CPO. Huh?
I did. I put it as an ROI. I'll tell you how I did it.
Okay, how did you do it?
So I came into a situation. There were 32 people.
How much?
32 people
Mm-hmm.
that were reporting under me. We're not achieving any goals. They were not doing well. They were burned out. They were working an average of 52 hours. Okay. And they were still not achieving goals. So imagine that, working longer than they need to and not achieving goals. And there's just 32 people, head count. So you're asking,
Ooh.
what's the ROI? My ROI, what I was tasked with is you need to hit your goal. Your goal is X, clean up the books, and the other things, restructure the departments. Okay, fine. Along all of that, they never told me you need to hit a certain number from an operating cost perspective. They never told me that because they just said change everything that we're doing because it's not working. So come in and basically clean the house. So I'm like, okay. So the things that I do that will drive your ROI is the fundamentals that I use and everywhere I go is people, processes, and systems. Literally in that order.
Mm-hmm.
Assess your people, the talent level that you have. Do they have the ability to be above and beyond of what their actual role is? And do they have the intangibles that you're looking for to drive your department and your vision forward? Processes. Do they have the things in place that will allow them to be successful? The
Mm-hmm.
process of what they have to be doing, how they have to go about it. And then the infrastructure, which is the systems. Do we have the systems that will allow them to spend less time doing a particular task, cutting it down by 30%, 50%, even 60%? Do they spend less time on rudimentary, non-value added stuff? So I look at that everywhere I go. I go people, processing, systems. I do a full assessment of everything. I come in a year and a half, my head count significantly less because not because I had to let go of people, because they're so efficient now, and they're actually working on higher level projects. I was able to not only delegate, they were able to do all their work in a less amount of time, and we were never achieving goals. We were exceeding goals every single year, every single year. So
But
the
what did you
ROI,
do with the people that was gone from your department? You shifted to other departments?
no, we didn't have to replace them
Okay.
because literally 10 items that they were handling by two people became 8 items because two of them were not necessary. And those 8 items were able to be handled by one person. And they spent less time. They were leaving by the 40 hours a week versus the 52 they were averaging. I reduced the amount of time they had to spend with less headcount. So to imagine that, exceeding your goals, less people, less time that they have to stay
But
in.
what happened with the people, the other quit?
Yeah, they quit. You know why they quit? Because they felt, remember the culture. Remember we were talking about culture?
Yeah.
They
Remember?
were like, "Oh, this is not the culture I'm used to." No, you're not. This is
I
not.
want the culture where I'm like,
Yeah, I'm able to
whatever.
do my thing, take it slow, and add my little extra hours of overtime, even though I'm not really doing anything to get to that point. They naturally leave.
Not efficient, not
No,
focus on improving. And that is so beautiful because that is exactly what I was also telling to the lady I having conversation yesterday. It's like I experienced it also in my work with my team. First, acknowledge the person. What is important for the person? What is also get to know the person. What is important? I give you an example. I had one guy. He was like overachiever. Even if he was sick and actually the doctor gave him like a note to stay at home because it wasn't good at all, he came to work. And even if I knew I need him, in this moment I was, no, you take your ass off the office and you take care of yourself. Because I told him, if you don't take care of you for 2 days, next time you'll be 2 weeks away. So that means also, that was his topic. He was like trying always, to ignore this one. But because I was able to act with him on a human to human level, he actually, in time where we needed really to hit deadline, where it was like really challenging, I didn't need to ask him, and he stays and do the work, because he knew it in the other time. I won't press them. I won't even if we have things to do, I will keep the balance in the team. And the second one is I was looking what are their talents and whether the task they're currently working actually supports their talent development, or it's more about, okay, it's like bringing you into this, stupidity of routine work that doesn't give you the excitement. So as we were talking about time, when you do something excitement, you can do more work in less time. When you do something that doesn't excite you, that doesn't challenge you, that doesn't help to develop your talent, actually you are like, oh, I can do it in 10 minutes, but actually I'm going to do it in 1 hour because it's like, so I even supported people from my team to move away from my team in the risk of me maybe not hitting the goal, but actually in the company gaining a person that is better put in another position than here in this area.
Yeah, I've done the same. 100%. That's great. That's absolutely fantastic.
And that is, but so you put it in the ROE, you say, okay, when you focus on the people, when you really go and do the assessment, people, processes, and tools, right?
And systems, yeah.
And systems, tools.
PPS.
What?
PPS.
PPS?
People, processes, and systems.
I call my process PPI, but that is on a personal level, is personal professional identification. So that it means, where do you want to go? So where do you want to go? What is your profession you really wanted to express, or what is the talents you want to bring more on the table? And then to really embody it. Because a lot of people, even if they want to move to some other areas, they're so scared that they don't have the experience, because company tells you that's the CV. If your CV doesn't reflect the position that we're currently willing, you're not a match. And that's such a stupidity, because I don't want to get people by CVs. I want to get people by the willingness to learn the task, to develop and to explore their potential.
So one ROI for, I think, I've never been the head of HR in that sense. I've had HR roll up to me, but I've never been.
I don't want HR, because for me, HR is taking care of something else.
So people officing.
Yeah.
So probably one of the ROIs would be definitely retention rates. Look at the turnover rate from the company before you come in and see if that's something that they're interested in. Number two is, what is your bench strength? I'm actually telling you what I do for myself too, my own departments. Forget about just the people that are leading. Forget about just the managers. Do they have a bench strength, meaning people that are talented enough underneath them? Should they leave for other opportunity, because it happens, you have to be real, right? It just happens. But should they leave, do you have the ability to not miss a beat? So assess bench strength. What is the quality? And you have to qualify them exactly. Okay, what are the skill sets? What was the performance review? So there's ROIs you could create, a lot of different things. But also is, did I have to hire more people to produce the same results, or just incrementally resource? Did I have to increase my headcount or staffing salaries or salary costs by 10% to produce a 2% increment in value? That doesn't make any sense. So those are the ROIs you might have to look into, but you have to be a partner with every other department head to understand how you get there. But yeah, there's ROIs you could come up with.
First, it's important. You need to have the CEO on your side.
Yeah, without that, you're not going to get anywhere.
because when we restructure departments, the department needs to know that the restructuring won't affect their, because everyone try to protect themselves if they think that they're going to lose something from the piece of cake. If, for example, you need to achieve this level of, for example, me as a project manager, the whole project management in consultancy, we had this number of money we needed to bring in consultancy, revenue monthly, quarterly. So the topic is we are not the ones selling the projects. Actually, the sales team sells the software, and then they can sell our consultancy services. So, and then based on the task we have, of course, we have sometimes time and material, most of the times time and material, sometimes fixed price. So in time and material as a project manager, of course, you can a little scale. But what I didn't want it to do is to charge a customer more if some work didn't need to be done in order for me to achieve the goals so we can get our bonus. Because this create long-term customer dissatisfaction. And then what you do is, and then we go to the level of the whole company. The whole level of the company is to have a higher customer retention. Consultancy is just a small part of it. But because the department of consultancy has been measured on the level of revenue they're creating, they're fighting for their part and sometimes creating customer dissatisfaction, what actually harms the higher goal of the company of customer satisfaction and retention. So it makes no sense. So when you put a goals on a department that is in a contradiction to the goals of on the highest goal, and and that's something that need to be assessed and aware. So that means when you start restructuring to say, this is the way how you give here bonuses and so on. But actually this goal is in clash with the other goal. Because when they try to charge more, of course you're going to earn a little more, but long term it can create customer dissatisfaction. So that means we need to talk about the customer retention team. What is the challenge there from the customer? So they need to talk also to exchange viewpoints, and not everybody to be like bonused on their part. And if you grab somebody, I'm losing this one project manager, that means I can deliver less project. That means I can have less revenue. That means the bonus for the whole department goes down. So that's why nobody wants to support you to move away from the department. And this is the whole structure. And I understand when the company grows in a big number, you still kind of need to have structure. But yet, exactly as Gary Vee says, especially experts, for them, they never quit company. Experts always quits managers.
Of course.
Always. But the company thinks, it's maybe, people think, they quit the company. No, you don't quit the company. You quit the manager.
That's why it's important to have a philosophy of, regardless how talented the individual is, if that person is a troublemaker, or what some people have called them cancers in an organization or a department, you need to make sure you take care of that right away, because it definitely spreads. It absolutely spreads. So to have the culture to say, regardless of how talented you are, but you are literally causing everybody to have stress, anxiety, and just horrible experience at work. It's not a good fit culturally of what we're trying to achieve, regardless of how talented the individual is. Can you make that change? Do you have the ability and the wherewithal to actually make that change? And a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't do that.
But you know what is the problem? Because organizational structure, like, okay, you are talented in your area. For example, you're very good in the technical area. You're very good so they give you the next level. They give you, you expect when you're long-term in a company to grow. And then there comes a times where the next level is just management. But the person is perfect in their technology expertise. But in their management skills, in their human skills are like 0.0 or below the zero. But because they don't want to lose them and they will still want to give them an opportunity to grow and develop, suddenly they offer them a management position. But actually this person has no quality to be a people manager, has a quality to be lead developer or lead technical. So that is the problem, that sometimes because they don't want to lose a technical expert, and they want to, offer him or her a position where she can grow. And the person thinks, oh, my next level will be this, but actually it's not what they're good at. Or maybe they don't want to grow in this one. If you want to grow, of course, you can go to different trainings and so on. But the most of the cases, especially IT companies, they put IT in the people management roles, and then they see how they just suck. And it's not that the person is bad or had bad intention, but it doesn't have the skill set to be a people manager.
But that's a double-edged sword. So I'll give you my perspective on that one. Yes, that's correct, but also incorrect in the sense who was training them as they were going through that path of development and the escalation of responsibility and titles. Because I know for a fact, you got promoted to manager, you got promoted to director, there's no management training whatsoever. It's just, here you go. Here's the new responsibilities you have to take. Good luck with that. But
No
they
training.
will give they will give the management training when there's an issue. When there's a problem, then okay, we need this person needs management training. But it's not proactive. It's not saying this is what it means to be a manager. This is what it means to do this. This is how you treat people. This is how you communicate. This is how all this stuff doesn't really happen. It really doesn't happen.
It needs to be in advance. It needs to be
absolutely
to go
proactive.
Through a long term, like 1 year trainings, also one in advance, that you set the aspiration. I want to go there in this direction. But sometimes he's, this manager quits, so we need somebody else. Oh yeah, let me put this one.
And do they even have a pulse of their colleagues that they're about to manage all of a sudden? Are they even interacting?
They're not happy. They're certainly not happy. You're the same with me. You're the same with me. Now you want them to be my boss? No. I don't like you.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff that, yes, a lot of people are not probably fall into the category of being amazing managers, but part of it's not their fault. They just haven't had the proper training. So give them the opportunity to see if they have it before you actually put them into that position, because that's a problem. That is a problem. So some of the things that people do over here in the US is they have this scaling or rating system. See who are the superstars or the next up people, future leaders of the organization. For those people, some companies actually do a really good job, but only at a VP level and above is when they actually go to these training seminars and summits and all this stuff. But people below should be actually attending some sort of development program, really development program, because you will find out right away what they have and what they don't have. What can be a strength and enhance that strength, and what is the things that they need to sort of turn that challenge into an opportunity. Vet it right away. If they have the technical expertise, vet it right away and see what they need or what they lack that they could actually start seeing within themselves before you actually start promoting, because then it creates chaos. Absolutely creates chaos. People start reacting after 20, I'll give you an example. A department, very little turnover in 2 years. All of a sudden, somebody gets promoted. Guess what happened? Next 6 months, the turnover rate starts creeping up. After a year, the turnover rate is over 25% in the department. 25%, a quarter of the people started leaving because they couldn't handle the person that was actually managing, leading them. What does that happen financially? You know how much money I have to spend on recruiting fees, on time spent, right? And then also consoling the people that are actually still sticking around because they're complaining all the time.
And then you need to learn the new people who come. So they also need to have
training. Absolutely. It's a big cost, Anna. It's a big cost financially. I'm giving you my financial perspective. It's a big cost.
Or the people getting sick, for example, because they don't like. So in Germany, for example, you can just go to the doctor.
Productivity.
Or your motivation, lack of motivation. You can be there, but there and doing like efficient work, it's something different,
Mm-hmm.
So I can do like I'm doing something, especially in Germany, you have protection. So they cannot just like that in America kick you from now to then. You have 3 months protection. I was quitting like that, every 3 to 4 years. I was like, the manager? No. I know my value. especially when you get expertise in what you're good at, you know your value. And every time when I move company, I get 20% at least salary increase. When you stick in the company, if you're lucky, maybe you have 2-3% with one move, change company, I get 20%. So if you don't create an environment where I feel good and I can thrive, for me, actually, is the better decision to change company every few years.
You got to do what you got to do.
But that is the problems, why the retention, it's so, low of experts. You keep the people that are not good, and you keep on losing the people where you invest time, and you help them, because like you said, recruitment costs, and then integrating and all this kind of stuff.
That's why it requires to really have a pulse in the organization. It really requires to have a pulse in the organization. And if you're not at that level as a chief people officer or somebody at the executive level, you still need to have a pulse on the people around you. Even as a manager, a pulse, meaning what's the temperament? How are they feeling? Are they engaged? Or are they happy? Are they miserable?
Post meeting, But it needs to be taken into account, because I see some organizations have, but after that happens nothing.
That goes back to the culture.
Exactly. You do some assessment, and then the assessments are like somewhere. We just did it in order to say we did it.
And that, my friend, is your challenge. Good luck.
And yours?
No, I'm fine. I'm not in charge of the entire company. I'm just in charge of my.
Just what?
I'm not in charge of the entire organization at that level at that time. I'm just in charge of departments.
Yeah, and that is the one topic. And when now here in the GCC area, also put the topic of the women empowerment, as in Saudi Arabia, for example, women wasn't even allowed to drive cars, as and now they want to drive more women in leadership and so on. So that is also then to switch the culture of a man, that suddenly they may have woman as a leader, as a manager, that they don't like how suddenly a woman will tell me what to do.
That is a challenge. That is a challenge. Yeah.
Thank you for listening to us, and happy to see you too next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, guys and ladies. Thanks for watching. Click on one of the videos below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.